where, you know how you got like on your phone, because I'm doing this on my phone, right? You'll have your Wi-Fi settings, and all of a sudden, local place that you have actually frequent Wi-Fi. Well, what happened is, the Wi-Fi settings clicking in and shit interrupted with phone data Wi-Fi, so I had to turn that shit off. So, and it interrupted the stream. So, anyways, let's get back on topic. This is part two of men setting up positive boundaries and protecting your emotional energy. Okay, men setting up positive boundaries and protecting your emotional energy. This is the Men's Daily Advice and Encouragement Channel. Men's Daily Advice and Encouragement Channel. This is Mr. Gigi again. All right, it's part two. All right, due to a technical streaming error. So, anyways, so another example of setting up boundaries and protecting your emotional energy. There was a gentleman I was listening to on the Philippine channel, right? He's pretty successful, all right? I don't know how big, how little, but he brags about it, all right? But anyway, so what ended up happening was he got himself into a relationship. I'm not going to say who the person is, right? Because I'm a supporter of that person's channel. Got himself in a relationship with a Filipina that actually wants to get married, okay? Wants to get married. They want to have kids and all this other shit, right? Okay? Now, you guys hear me mention Philippines and Thailand and Vietnam and Brazil and Eastern Europe because those are the places I want to go, right? So that's why I look at a lot of that content, okay? So, the Filipinos pushing for marriage, pushing for relationships and shit like that because that's what her family pushed her to do. That's what she's encouraged to do by society, okay? She's encouraged by that shit, right? All right? Apologize about that.
I still don't understand.
So, what thing happened? The guy who so happens to be in that situation, he doesn't want to get married. You understand? They've been together for a while. We're going to say more than a year, okay? He doesn't want to get married. He doesn't want kids either. But she does. She wants the whole shebang. Okay. Why come he don't want kids? She wants to get married or whatever. But his mistake was this, and I'm just going to throw this out there too. And I tell a lot of boys on my channel is this. When you first meet these chicks, man, and you can go back to my videos. I talked about this shit too in the vetting stages too. When you first meet these chicks, you check and see what they're into. They want to get married. Why the fuck are you even having anything to do with this woman? You understand? All right? My apologies. I'm having a little cutouts here and there, you guys. Let me see. All right, cool. Why in the world are you having anything to do with a woman that wants to get married and have kids, knowing you don't want to get married, you don't want to have kids? Why does that make sense? Well, she's nice and she gives me the best sex in the world, and she cooks and cleans and she's cooperative, she's compliant, and she does everything I want. I get that. But why put yourself in that position? You know, why put her in that position? Is it really worth you putting yourself in that position to deal with a person who does fit the same goals and admirations and ambitions that you want in the future? Why have anything to do with that person? You understand? Why put yourself sexually involved with this person? Why emotionally involve yourself with that person? Why put yourself in that circumstance? Okay? Why do that? If she wants to have kids and wants to get married, and you know you don't want to have kids, you know you don't want to get married, why put yourself in that position? And there's a lot of guys that do that shit, you know, and then they look up later on, damn, the woman who I'm involved with, in this case, the Filipino I'm involved with, She want these kids. She want this marriage. I'm going to tell her to go ahead and she might as well go on with another person, you know, because I can't fulfill those needs. I get it. But you're kind of stronger along now, man. You know, put that dick down on her, man. Put the sausage down on her, man. Now she got feelings. You understand? And whatever it takes, you also have to understand that now, even though you've guarded your emotions, she emotionally invested in you, man. So what the fuck you gonna do? I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Well, you got a problem on your hand. Because it's not gonna be a situation where she can just up and end the relationship like that. Nah, man, she's already emotionally invested in you. All right? What you should have done is told her off the gate. Early. Hey, I don't want any kids. I don't want marriage. Okay? All right? If you don't want her to move in with you, say, hey, I don't want any cohabitation. I don't want you moving in with me. We keep separate spots. You're welcome to come over and spend a night from time to time. I'm welcome to come over to your place and spend a night from time to time. Whatever. Right? You see what I'm saying? You're setting up the boundaries. You're protecting your emotional energy. So then, if later on she decides that she's going to change her goddamn mind, guess what? You set the boundaries up. You told her off the gate, and she's trying to flip. Well, I know that was at the time I didn't want to have kids. I don't want marriage. But now I changed my mind because I see my friends too. For you, right then and there, it's time for you to end that relationship right there. And just say, I'm sorry, I don't want to waste your time, but I told you this right off the gate. It's not my fault you decided to change your mind. And now she's first with a dilemma. It's not your fault because you were honest with her. You were honest with her right off the gate. You told this motherfucker, hey, look, I don't want to have kids. I don't want to get married. I don't want cohabitation. I don't want to move in with a woman move in with me. You told her the top 3 pillars. And she accepted that. You even made it clear to her. If you change your mind later on, thinking that later on, now I'm changing my mind, I want to go ahead and do the reversal, yeah, just end that relationship right there where we're done. Well, but don't you love me, man? And then, no. This has shit to do with love. This has everything to do with your decisions. You understand? Don't you guys let these chicks be sitting up here talk you guys into, well, love this and love that, but you've already set your boundaries up, man. Your boundaries are set early. When you set your boundaries up early, either prior to dating her or when you first met her, it's not your fault that she decided to change her goddamn mind. She changed her mind based off of her feelings, the society standards, with some other girlfriends have actually done. Some of the girlfriends probably talked to a girl. I asked, I don't know, what's his name? Leon. I asked Leon about 20 times, can I get married? He kept telling me no. And on the 21st time, he said, yeah. I told him Leon didn't want to have kids. I asked him 42 times, right? And he turned around and said, so now we're going to, all you got to do is keep asking, girl, keep trying. They'll eventually do it. But what she ain't told her, this is what she hasn't told her. And that is that every guy don't think the same. Every guy don't operate the same. Every guy has different brains. We have different coping mechanisms. We have different things that makes us click, make us think. We're different. She didn't tell her that. She didn't tell her that one American guy from the United States is going to be totally different from the next American guy in the United States. Okay? She didn't tell her that one Canadian guy is going to be totally different from the next Canadian guy. One United Kingdom guy is going to be totally different than the next United Kingdom guy. Right? One Australian guy is going to be totally different from the other Australian guy. Right? One Western European guy is going to be totally different from a Western European guy. They're going to be totally different from the guy that she convinced to have that kid with. and get married to and move in with. You see where I'm at? She didn't tell her that. So she got it in her brain, well, I'm going to go ahead and try to convince them. But if you have set the boundaries up early, when you first met her, when you dated her, whatever, the beginning of the relationship, there should not be a problem. But if in the event that she tries to change her fucking mind, leave her. Done. End the relationship right there. Don't have nothing to do with you. And listen, here's some $1 million knowledge too. All right, you ready? You had better not have emotionally invested to her. That's right. You had better not have emotionally invested into that woman. At that time, you've already have guarded your emotions. You know why? Because if you didn't and you emotionally invested into her, you're going to start getting actual big time feelings for this woman. And then you're going to feel at the crossroads of, damn, now I love her. Damn, I got her, whatever, right? I can't even leave her and all this other shit, right? But here's the deal, man. You can leave her, okay? You can leave her. You can kick her ass to the curb. You can be done if by chance you have guarded your emotions. See, women actually feed off emotions. That's just what they do. But if you're a male and you've guarded those emotions, right? You guarded like your debit card, your credit card. You guarded that shit like your credit score. You've guarded that shit like you would guard anything else, you know, right? You guard those emotions. You got to put that shit up because she will. I'm telling you, she will take advantage of that shit. You understand? All right? So that's why it's important, you know, and that's why I took many pages out of the Passport Bro book, and it's true that the vetting stages are very, very crucial. In those vetting stages, this is when you ask those questions. You want to make sure that when it comes to compatibility, when it comes to you guys being able to have similar goals in life, you have to ask those questions, okay? You have to give her real when-if scenarios. Okay, I know today that you're saying you don't want any kids when you get married, but let's say, man, you have sex and we've been together for 2 years, right? You know, almost done with the dating stage or whatever. And you decide, hey, I want kids. I want marriage. Now what? What are we going to do? She's going to hit you with this. I swear to God. No, I'm not going to change my mind. It's fine. It's cool. And no, man, we all know this. And you guys, if you guys got a little bit of sense, you would know. Women change their mind all the goddamn time. They do. Okay. And especially if you deal with a woman who's emotionally unstable, where her fucking mood shift with the wind. You know, I talked about that on another video, you know, women with psychological problems where the mood shift with the wind, right? One day she's 100% with you. Next moment she's out the door, you know, totally opposite on what your beliefs are. You got your answer. You got your answer. Click that like button when you come in. Click that subscribe button. I appreciate it. This is part 2. I had some streaming problems earlier. This is part 2 of the men need to set up positive boundaries. And also, too, men need to protect their emotional energy. You need to protect that shit, okay? Don't expose all your emotional energy just right off the gate, because a lot of you guys are so stupid. You guys will sit up here and assume because this woman is nice and sweet, you need to be nice and sweet, and you'll put your guards down. Start emotionally investing to her. Start handing over money to this chick. You know, I've seen these guys doing dumb shit like putting a woman who's not financially intelligent, right, on his bank account and having her making financial decisions and shit. And then he wakes up one day and the chick then already took all his money out of his bank account. And he said, well, I thought she loved me. Listen, you got to keep love and finances separate in this shit, man. Love and finances has nothing to do with each other, okay? Love and finances have nothing to do with each other, okay? All right? Your stoic common sense has to be head on at all time, okay? All right? You have to be in the position where if in the event this bitch does some dumb ass shit, you have to have an exit strategy. That's one thing we learned in real estate too, is that once you get into a property, right, you have to have some type of exit strategy out of that property. You know, exit strategy, maybe you might want to buy it, hold it, rehab it, throw a renter in there, cash flow it, right? You know, your cash flow is pretty much your exit strategy, all right? Or you might want to buy it, hold it, rent it, And then you might want to do what we call a cash out refi, right? Or refinance, where pretty much you get a refinance on the amount of what the house is worth, loan to value. You get that cash, right? Cash it out, right? Use the tenant to pay for the loan, plus also to get yourself some money in your pocket. So now you got cash flow that's paying for the monthly installments on the loan, right? Plus your positive income. And then you take that big sum of cash and you go buy another home, buy another commercial building or whatever. That's called a cash out refi, or you might do what I do. You might wholesale, you might find the property deeply discounted, undervalued, and this property might be worth 200 grand. You might find a motivated seller that might want to sell it for 30. You get it under contract for 30, reflip the contract to someone else, let's say for 70, right? $70,000 minus $30,000. That's your middleman split. That's your 50K. You left plenty of money on the table for the investor to go ahead and make some money on that deal. And now he bought it for 70. He can go ahead and put in, I don't know, say about 40,000 worth of work, right? He's in at 110, right? Take that 110 and now that thing's up to value, put it back on the market for 200, right? Minus closing costs and all that shit or whatever. What did he take home? Roughly about 80 grand. That's a pretty good deal. You see where I'm at? On top of the money that he actually got back. You understand? But these are little exit strategies we learned in real estate. And there's more than this. There's way more than this. But in dating, in a relationship, you have to have an exit strategy too, because if the deal goes wrong, like if the female, she's a deal, and the deal goes left side 5 years, 10 years, 20 years later, at least you could say, well, I got my fallback. You see what I meant? And the fallback is you're not going to tell this bitch what the fallback is. If you got tenants in a property that's cash flowing, right, and they paying and they happy, you're not going to tell them, hey, man, I'm about to go ahead and cash out and refinance on that property. It's none of their goddamn business, What is their business to make sure that they know for a fact that they got a roof over their head. The agreement is the agreement. If the property is going to be sold to somebody else, that information needs to be disclaimed, in real estate. It needs to be disclosed, All right. But when it comes to women, nah, man. Your exit strategy is going to be different. Your exit strategy is going to be if in the event this bitch change her goddamn mind. She decides to do something different, right? If she decides she wants to have kids suddenly and get married suddenly, knowing you both agreed upon it, you better have an exit strategy to get out the situation. You don't keep going in the situation. No, to get out of the situation. You understand? All right. And that's just what it is. You understand? All right. That's just what it is. You understand? All right. Click that like button as you come in. Click the subscribe button. I appreciate it. Engage in the chat. I appreciate it too, man. Make sure you help your boy get those subs up. I appreciate it. This is the Men's Daily Advice and Encouragement channel. Men's Daily Advice and Encouragement channel. Okay. Press the sub button, the subscribe all button. I appreciate it. So yeah, emotional energy must be protected at all times. Okay. All right. Especially when she start crying and shit, man. See, the biggest thing I tell you guys I deal with are women who are emotionally immature, women who have psychological issues, right? I'm for real. I don't know. I'm a magnet of that shit. I get women all the time. They're emotionally immature, have psychological problems, right? I don't know what it is. I'm a magnet to them, man. I don't know what it is, right? And when I get these bitches, right, all the time, right, they tend to have like a lot of issues, either a lot of kids, or they got beaten up by an ex really bad, they've done drugs, serious drugs, alcoholic problems, or let's say they have no substance abuse problems. They got daddy issues, right? They haven't been on any drugs or anything. They got like daddy issues where the father wasn't in the picture, right? They rebelled against the father, all that shit. I don't know what it is. I just